Hello and welcome to the Vandy 24/7 podcast. Sorry to keep you waiting a minute or two late, but anyway, we are presented by FanDuel. I'm your host, Chris Lee. I'm joined by Luke Wyatt. Speaking of FanDuel, as of today, Wednesday morning, you can get Vanderbilt plus 3,000 to win the College World Series this year. We're going to talk baseball. We'll talk some hoops. We'll really get into whatever Luke would like to get into. Always leave it up to him a little bit. But anyway, Luke, thanks for joining me today.
Absolutely, Chris. We got a big week. We talked last week about the two basketball games, and I think you asked me at one time would I have taken a split. Absolutely, I would have, but I knew that was going to be a rough weekend. Getting Duke back was huge, but there's still a little rust to be knocked off.
You have an uncanny ability to sense when things are going one way or the other. Now, you're not always right, but you get it right a lot more than most people.
I think what that comes from, and I'm not trying to brag or boast or anything, just being in a locker room situation for 40 years.
Yeah.
Mostly football, but also baseball and basketball. You kind of get a sense for these things. And, there's so many variables and stuff that go into these kids' lives. If they're having trouble with a certain class or, just things happen. I mean, they're just like us. They have everyday problems. And sometimes that hurt. And look, right now we've lost 3 basketball games in the conference by a total of 6 points.
Yeah.
That's how close these games are most of the time. And I think it's going to continue to be that way down the stretch. There's 4 games left. And, tonight worries me too. Smurf and Blue Cane both are really good players. And the big kid, Cyril, it's not going to be easy.
Yeah, it won't be a pushover. I think it's a better matchup than the last couple. I'll get into that in a little bit as to why. But anyway, first of all, we need to thank some folks here who helped the show, help make it possible. That starts with Sylvan Park Ventures. They are our title sponsor for 2026. They're a Nashville-based investment firm partnering with entrepreneurial companies and real estate opportunities through thoughtful growth capital and long-term relationships. Find out more at sylvanparkventures.com. Basketball season is presented by my good friend Steve Andrews and the Wash House. You handle the cheering, and Steve and his crew will handle the laundry. With the Wash House Laundry Center's new pickup and delivery service, your clothes go from dirty to dazzling faster than at Commodore Victory. Whether you're a student, alum, or diehard fan, we've got you covered all season long. Schedule your pickup now at washhouseclean.com. The Wash House Laundry Center, Nashville's cleanest play for Commodore Nation. Help Steve out. Help out the people who help our company. Really good dude, good friend of mine. And same with Sylvan Park Ventures. I know the folks over there are good folks too. As is Scott Pettis of Scott Pettis Realty. They sponsor baseball season. If you're looking to buy or sell a home in Middle Tennessee, trust Scott Pettis and Scott Pettis Realty. He is a Vanderbilt graduate, class of 2008, and a Nashville native with 18 years of real estate experience. Scott's deep roots and personal connections across the city give his clients a true edge. Whether you are buying your first home, selling a luxury property, or looking for that next investment property, from starter homes to teardowns to million-dollar listings, Scott has done it all. He personally guides each client through each step of the buying and selling process. No teams, no handoffs, no shortcuts. With the 2026 housing market shifting to a more balanced market, now is the time to act and have an experienced agent in your corner. Meet Scott at Scott Pettis, PETTUS.com, and let Scott go to work for you. Luke, we've got a lot to discuss. We've got basketball in the rear view mirror. We've got basketball ahead. We've got the same with baseball. Where would you like to start today?
Yeah, let's go with the basketball game we got on tap here. I'll be heading over that to Memorial around 4:30 to kind of feel things out and talk to some folks that I always talk to before the game. Again, we're an 8.5-point favorite, I think. I don't think we cover that spread. I do think we win tonight. It's one of those, we hate to call them must wins any time of the year, but if we don't want to keep falling on that seed line, we need to win tonight.
Yeah. I think if they can get tonight and Saturday, they're right back in that 4 to 5 range.
Right. I agree with that. You got the 3 left that we've already played. We've lost to one of them and beat the other 2. If we can still go 2-2 down the stretch, I think we finish as a 5 or a 6 seed. because I don't think I don't know what you believe, but the SEC tournament, unless you make a deep run, doesn't affect seeding much.
Yeah, they say it's considered, but I've never really, felt like it has. But by the way, FanDuel has got Vanderbilt -8.5 tonight as of right now. So there you go with that. Yeah, I mean that's I guess I don't know. You'd almost rather have. I don't know if you'd rather have the 5 than the 4. Four matches you up with a 1 somewhere, and like the top level teams this year are really, really good. It feels
they really
like.
are. I think there's 6 or 8 that separate themselves, and but I will say this: now that Duke's back and he's getting more practice time, I knew even though he was back for Tennessee, which was a good thing. Don't get me wrong. He was 3 of 13 from the field, so he had to knock off a little rust there.
Yeah.
Still had 6 assists and played well otherwise. But the more he plays and get Tyler back, and hopefully he's through this flu where he lost 7 or 8 pounds. The kid only weighs 160 anyway. And when you have 150 to 155 pounds against the physical play that they allow in the SEC, which, by the way, I'm really getting sick of that. Not necessarily against Vanderbilt, just watching games. I don't know what officiating has come to.
It's awful.
The walks, and I'm not saying this cost us the game, although it may have. The Ament play, first of all, he held the ball for like 7 seconds. Then he turns and trades feet, and there's no call of a travel.
Yeah.
Saw the same thing happen last night when they were playing Missouri. He got away with a walk. Now, a lot of that may be that, and I don't want to be conspiracy type thing, but do they take care of these guys who are these one and dones who are marquee players? I don't know. But it sure is suspicious at times.
Well, and I guess it's changed because I guess these crews officiate a lot of different leagues. I had a friend that was trying to get into it a few years ago. And this has been a long time. The word of the time is there was a guy that ran the whole thing, and you had to pay a couple grand to go to his camps. If you wanted to break into it. So it feels like it's been an old boy business for a while.
Yeah.
You see the same names out there year after year. I'm just like, is it not time for some new blood here? And I'm not saying look, in general, I value experience. I do. I think that the more you do something, the more likely you're better to be at it. But something is really, really wrong with officiating right now. And I don't know what to attribute it to.
Let me shout out to someone who I think is a great official. Is Pat Adams. Watch him do, whether it's Vanderbilt or whoever, I've always appreciated how he officiates a basketball game. I've saw him tell a coach, I missed that one, coach, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I can live with that. I really can. But what I can't live with is they go into the scorer's table and making up hook and holds and not calling hook and holds and not going back and looking at replays on a 3-point shot. I don't know how you institute that, if you have to do that or if they're supposed to do it during a dead ball. But that happened last night in the Missouri-Tennessee game. It wound up, didn't cost Missouri, but it could have. There's just so many variables. And, Chris, when you take a straight line drive to the basket now, let's say you beat a guy off the dribble and you go straight line. If there's any kind of contact, it's either no foul or if you touch them, it's a foul. It doesn't make any sense. You can really body somebody up, bump them 2 or 3 times. No foul.
I know. And then anticipation calls are still there. The hook and hold, and I'm not going to go too far because people have heard this, but my thing with hook and hold, I will watch them replay those. And I'm like, I can't tell who is holding who, so what happens typically is somebody gets his arm over somebody, and then the guy who's underneath it will grab it and hold on to it. I can't tell who's doing what.
To me, the way it should be called is if the whoever initiates that first line of contact. You just got to call the foul on him. You have to.
Right. And the problem is when you see that replay, Luke, a lot of times they don't start it where you can see where the contact started and who initiated. And that's my issue. If I knew that, I would have a more clear view, but I watch it. I'm like, I don't have any idea what these guys are going to call. And it feels like sometimes the more egregious an offense is, the more likely it does not get called. And the more something looks like I can't tell what they're going to do, they'll just pin it on whoever.
Yep. No, I agree with you totally. I hope there is something done about it, and maybe it's the way they teach the officiating to be. But I'll give you this one other thing about officials, and we can get off of it. One thing is some of these officials work too many games. They're going to work on a Monday. They're in Providence on a Monday, and they're in Athens, Georgia on Tuesday, and they're back in Nashville on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
I don't know limits to how many games they can work. I don't know that, but I think these guys, like anybody else, want to make as much money as they can and work as many games as they can. So, there's been guys that's been in the Final Four that I don't agree are very good officials.
Yeah.
So, what do I know?
I want to talk about guard play for a minute, and particularly Miles and Tanner. I think, first of all, I think Tyler Tanner may be my favorite player that I have covered on the beat. And it's everything about him.
Yeah.
I mean, man, the dude played through the flu 2 games.
I know.
And, barely came off the floor. Well, I shouldn't say barely came off the floor. He did a little bit more, but I mean, you've got the other guard situation on the team, which we won't get into today. Everybody knows what I mean. You got a guy that, was supposed to be back, worst case scenario, a month ago and isn't. And you got Tyler Tanner out there doing those things. Man, I'm I'm not the guy to ask, but man, if I got a cold that I don't feel good, I'm taking a couple hours off if I can. And it's just to get better and move on. But I've got a lot for that kid. I love the way he carries himself. I love the way he plays. I love his unselfishness. I don't have, I hate it that he is getting worn down. I think you're seeing him like that little shot. And he and Miles both do it, and Tanner's better at it. Where they go, it's not quite a layup, although I guess it's close to it. They'll drive and take a short bank shot really from around the right block, or maybe just a foot or two outside. And I felt like he was hitting a lot of those early in the year. And now I feel like he's missing most of those. And I've got to think that's got to do with fatigue.
I would think so. Touching on Tanner also, from my standpoint, I sit sometimes under the basket. And there was a play the other night in the Tennessee game where he ran into, I think it was Tennessee. It may have been it was, where he ran into a photographer. And he kind of leg whipped him pretty good. And Tyler takes the time to check on him, make sure. All right. That to me tells me all I need to know about Tyler Tanner.
Yeah.
Gets it. Certain kids get it and some kids don't, and he gets it. He's the type, like I said before, you want your daughter to come home and say, I'm dating Tyler Tanner.
Yeah. And it's, you look at, like the situation at Kansas, we're just off and on with Darren Peterson. And like, this is the era where guys feel more empowered to do stuff like that. And you got a guy out there that is just busting his tail and giving above and beyond. Like if Tyler Tanner said, man, I got to get some rest. I've just got to sit this Arkansas game out so I can be better when I'm, and I guess maybe some of it is like knowing that there's not much of an option after he's out.
Right.
I have so much respect, because to me, and maybe they would have been better. Maybe they would have been better just going to Missouri and taking a 30-point loss and letting him get better. And maybe he's more well to beat Tennessee. I don't know what the answer is, but I have so much respect for how he's handled it, because kids now have every excuse to do the opposite of the way he's done it.
Yeah, and the consistency with which his game is. He's, even when he doesn't play well, he helps you in every other facet. If he not scoring.
I want to talk about Miles, and Miles is up there too on my list of guys I really respect. Love the way that he's played. My understanding is Duke Miles was playing through some knee pain and discomfort before he got the procedure. I don't know. I thought, I'm not going to say, I'm conflicted on what to think of his shot selection, I guess is one way to put it, from Saturday, because on one hand, like, they went almost 10 minutes without a bucket. And it's not like you're just going to sit around and rotate the ball and get a wide open look against Tennessee for the most part. So I think some shot selection can be excused, but I thought at times, I don't know if he was trying to force things too much, maybe when they weren't scoring, or what did you make of, because he goes 3 for 13, hit one more of those and maybe they win the game. And again, I think Duke Miles is terrific. I love the way that he has come back, and Duke Miles has always played hard when he's in the lineup. I have a lot of, ton of respect for him. But I did kind of watch at times. I'm like, I don't know that was the shot that they needed right there a couple of times with him.
He's had a couple of games like that where he took it. Now,
Yeah.
This one I excuse a little bit because he's trying to get back in the rhythm of things. So maybe he's thinking about his shot selection as much as he should. When he had one of those type of games. Duke, I'm like you. Duke smiles all the time. You can tell he enjoys playing basketball.
Yeah.
He's the kind of guys I would pay to watch, and I do pay. I agree with that. To me, the Tennessee game, jumping a little bit here, hinged on two plays for us. When we were up 7 and we have a wide open 3 from Bing in the corner and we missed that, we would gone up 10. And then we were up 5, I think, or 6 late in the game, and Tyler Nickel has a wide open look and he misses as well. That pretty much sealed our fate there because, you couldn't get any separation.
Nickel has been a guy that has just been so consistent, and that's been the wild thing is lately teams have really been able to take him out of games. I guess I kind of get it because if you're watching him, you're going, I think if we can stop Nickel, like without Miles, teams are probably thinking if we can stop Nickel, we got a great shot to win because Tanner's probably going to get his anyway. He'd been so consistent till the last month or so. And I think it'll come back. I think with having Miles back, that might help Tyler Nickel as much as it helps Tyler Tanner. But, man, just a little bit more. I'm like, you almost forgot he was on the court at times. Like he wasn't even getting looks. No,
they did. Tennessee, you got to give them credit. They did put offensively. Now, what I will say is the way, to me, if I'm scouting, I'm going to play Vanderbilt tomorrow and I'm the coach, I'm saying, guys, first of all, I want you, whoever's on Tyler, I want him roughed up. They rough. And they're going to check and see if that works. If the officials are allowing that, then we're in trouble because, when you don't when you just play regular basketball, Tyler Tanner's going to get to the rim, and he's going to either make a spray for a wide open 3 or he's going to get it and score himself. And when they don't allow that, when they allow it to bully him, then you don't have much chance. Tennessee plays. It's funny. They play really good defense. Don't get me wrong, and they obviously a great rebounding team, especially offensive rebounding. But what they do that I don't know if you remember the old Kentucky teams with Mike Phillips, Rick Roby, they called it the karate defense. They hold, they push, they pinch, they pull, and they do it all the time. So they're not going to call it all the time.
Yeah.
Something all the time. They don't call it, but maybe 1 out of every 3 times you do it. So Rick Barnes has taught that. And, you don't get a lot of open looks against them.
Yeah, I don't remember that Kentucky team was performing. I thought Rick Pitino's early teams did that a lot.
Same thing.
Pressed a lot, and just like there were, like if you called it by the book, you're fouling out there starting 5 and 10 minutes into the game. But anyway, I think this is a better matchup for them. Georgia just does not defend as physically as some of these other teams do. They don't have the size across the board. Now they do have Somto Cyril. Who's a dude.
Yes.
But, he gets in foul trouble a little bit. And, he's also been ejected for a flagrant 2 for throwing a punch. So he's capable of losing his cool.
Right.
So there's that. The other thing that you said about them, Georgia's got the Wilkinson kid who missed a couple games with a shoulder injury. If you're Georgia, you may not want to play the let's rough Tanner up because you might get it back with your best player too.
That's true. That's a good point. They also have Dominique Wilkinson's plays for him, and he's a good athlete, obviously a great athlete. My concern tonight, is the kid they call Smurf. I think it's Millender.
Yeah,
he's really, really good, and he's the kind of kid that can really give Tyler Tanner trouble because he's quick as well. Tonight, the other thing that bothers me is the last home game because we lost to Tennessee, and I'm just telling you how Vanderbilt fans think. They shouldn't, but they do. Oh, man, I'm not going to go over there. I'm still pissed that we lost to Tennessee. And unfortunately, people shouldn't think that way, but there won't be a great atmosphere, I don't think, tonight. I hope I'm wrong. I hope there's still another 10,000 in there because I've said it 1,000 times. That's where we're at. We're capped at around 10,000 fans right now that are going to come to basketball. Look, we're 21-6. When you're 21-5, when you're playing Tennessee, and there's still 4,000 or 4,500 Tennessee fans in there, Shame on those people. That's crazy. What do you want? I mean, I don't get it.
Are people selling their tickets, or are they just capped out?
No, they have to be, because the section across from me, when I sit in my normal seats, which is the chairbacks, there was probably 30% Tennessee fans in there. So they have to. And I tell you what else I see a lot. And I don't know how I feel about this. All right, you and your wife, she went to UT and you went to Vandy. You're at the game with your Vandy stuff, and she is too, every game except the Tennessee game.
Yeah.
You see a lot of that. I mean, it's like being Tulane playing LSU is what it's like.
I think you have to take it at this point. I just think that the base of people that'll go to games is, I mean, you're right. It's capped out around 10,000 of theirs. And that's kind of the question I've been wondering. Like, if it gets good again, what does it look like? And there's your answer.
That's it. I think it's 10,000.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I think those, I've said it for the 100th time, 3F and 3L, why in the world? The entire section of F, 70% of it was Tennessee fans. Why in the world do you still, I know that why, because you get the revenue from it, but 3F and 3L should not be for visiting teams. I mean, if you want to do that, make the football stadium 60,000, and then you'll have 40,000 Tennessee fans when we play them. It doesn't.
I mean, I don't like to shrink the thing, the size. I get it. I'm just I'm like, do the work and just build the fan base. That to me is the answer. But
I'm not sure they can build it any more than 10,000 unless we're going 20. I don't. And now it's their fault that it got to this. I will say it's their fault. It's Vanderbilt's fault that it got to this by resting on their laurels for 7 to 10 years or whatever it was. Because I see a lot of the people that I used to see at games have gotten old, and they're there and they haven't replaced them.
Right.
But the days of, I watched South Carolina last night. Now, South Carolina's struggling, but it was 80% Kentucky fans at Colonial Life.
Wow. Yeah.
It was so late. It's just like a road game.
Yeah. Let's see. Where do you want to go next? Do you want to just go into baseball, or do you want to basketball stuff? I have a question for you. What do you make of the okay, Ole Miss has lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 straight games. They've got LSU tonight at home. Then they go to Auburn before they get Vanderbilt. Although I guess, wait a minute. I thought Ole Miss was Saturday. I guess it's not.
No, Kentucky Saturday.
Oh, okay. Never mind. I'm getting them out of order. Well, what do you make of the Kentucky matchup?
Well, there's a big payback in their mind, probably.
Yeah. Well, they no-showed here, I thought.
Yeah, they did, and that won't happen again. I think we can beat them? Yeah, I think our matchup with them is good because they don't play great defense.
Right.
And they rely on a couple of guys to get everything done, Oway and a couple others. But that, honestly, that one, I feel like that just because it's in Rupp, you don't get the whistle at all, and it'll be difficult. But we can win. I mean, now that Duke's back, and right now our 10th guy off the bench is Tyler Harris.
Who didn't play.
Chris, you and I talked before the year started. We thought he might be a starter.
Yeah,
so that's how different this team is now.
Yeah. Baseball, where would you like to start?
Well, yesterday the power surge continued. Braden Holcomb is in the zone right now. He's really hitting the ball well. Brody as well. If you wanted me to grade them after the first 2 weeks, my biggest concern right now is bullpen depth.
Yeah.
And now we've had some fielding problems, but heck, half of them have been the pitchers.
Yeah.
We've got 3 or 4 errors by our pitchers. So I'm not really that concerned. Riker's made a couple of boots, but on routine plays, it surprised me. But defensively, we got some work to do, and I think otherwise, I think our starting pitching is going to be fine. I really feel good about that. There's certain ballparks that will concern me with Connor Fennell because he's a fly ball pitcher. But besides that, our starting pitching is going to be fine. The midweek starter, Tyler Baird, I'm not sure that's going to stick because I don't think he can get us deep like Austin and I did last year, where Austin would pitch complete games and throw 6 or 7 innings. I'm not sure Baird's there yet.
Yeah.
That could be a little bit of a problem. But hitting right now, it's an A or A plus.
Yeah, I think Bayard's given up too many runners. No, he's 2 games into his career. That could change, but to me, I think the issue is the control. I mean, they're walking or hitting 15% of the hitters they face. No, some of that is going to probably decrease, if when they get Green, Stillman, Shorey back, and some of these guys that are pitching now that are putting a lot of guys on, are either going to figure it out or they're not going to pitch. But right now, to me, that's the biggest concern. They're not really getting hit hard. No, they are giving up some home runs, but they're not giving up like just, 3 consecutive doubles or things like that, which is helpful. But I think to me, those are my 2 concerns with the staff on the whole.
I think we'll know a lot more about this Vanderbilt team after this weekend.
I do too.
Go Irvine, you go Arizona and Oregon. I don't think any of them are ranked, but they're right there. They've won a lot of baseball games and they're good quality programs. I'm excited to see. Now, do you know much about the ballpark in Vegas where we're playing?
I don't. I mean, it's a high altitude. So did they play there? Remember they played who did they play this fall? Was it Utah or someone like that?
Played Utah.
Did they play at Utah or did they play in that park?
I think they may have played in that park.
Yeah, that might have been a prep for this.
I've got some friends going out to it, so I'm going to call them on the first day they get out there and kind of give me a feel of it. But I think I saw somewhere on the board where someone said that it's a hitter's park for sure.
Okay, well, maybe that benefits them in this case, which feels weird to say. I mean, I have a question for you. I was not able to be there yesterday. Something's got to be wrong with Rustin Rigdon if he hasn't played 2 games in a row.
I think Rustin's still, even though he's hitting 280, I think he's struggling with the zone.
Uh-huh.
I don't think anything's wrong with him. I don't. I think it's just they're giving him some more time in the cage, and maybe to get out of his feel. He's just not feeling the game right now. I think you'll see him start this weekend. I think that's
yeah, and he's not driving the ball either. He's hitting 280 and he's slugging 280.
And what's his strikeout? Seems like he's had a lot of whiffs.
37%, which is actually down from what it was a week ago.
Yeah, so that's not good.
No.
The other thing, injury since you brought that up, Colin Barzy, we may see him out there. Although Corbin Reynolds has done a tremendous job. They've got 4 catchers, man. I mean, I don't ever remember this catching depth. It was always you either had to rely on the same catcher and then maybe someone catch during the midweek. But we got 4 guys that I feel pretty good behind the plate. I'd heard Whitcomb was not great behind the plate, but I didn't see any of that the game he called.
Well, he had a pass ball to let in the first run.
Yeah, but I didn't see anything terrible. I fortunately he was a butcher back there, but that's not the case, I don't think.
Right. I mean, it's wild. Like they've got home runs from 3 guys who've caught, and one of them is not Whitcomb.
Yeah. There's only one kid, position player, that hasn't seen the field, and I'm wondering if he's still on the team because I haven't seen him, is Carson Quillen.
Yeah.
He hasn't seen a runner or a defensive replacement or anything.
Yeah, that's a good question. I haven't thought about it, but he has not played.
And we've seen every pitcher except for the other 3 guys that you mentioned earlier, the 3 lefties.
Yeah, finally saw Hudson Barton yesterday, but man, that didn't last long.
No, I think they just wanted him I think he had 10 pitch count, and that was it.
Yeah, well, that's what he had. So, let's see. I'm just looking at the stat sheet to see what catches my eye. Logan Johnstone has just been so good for them. I think he gets overlooked, but man, as a 6'10" on base, that's unbelievable.
Yeah, if he can keep that, if he can have 500 of that, I mean, maybe be at 500 when we get in the conference, that'd be great.
Well, the other thing that's helping too, I think, haven't they been hitting weight out of like the 8 or 9 hole, and he's at 579, so that almost gives you a leadoff man before your leadoff man.
Yeah, and I love Riker because he can hit from both sides of the plate, and he's got a little, even though he's a smallish guy, he's got a little pop.
Yeah, he does, and showed it. Like hit a couple of home runs in the Cape with a wood bat too, so that may be legit.
One thing I'd like to say while you're looking at that, Chris, is Brody only had 1 hit yesterday, but he hit the ball. He hits the ball so hard now.
Yeah,
that kid. I hate to throw this on him, but he's a can't miss, man. We're going to be watching him on in major leagues one of these days.
Yeah, I think so. And he's striking out 20% of the time. I think that's acceptable for the power he's providing. He's also walking 15% of the time, which is great.
What's Holcomb's strikeout rate?
20%.
So they're both. So Holcomb and Brody.
Oh, you were talking about.
I was talking about
Holcomb. Okay, you said Holcomb. I thought Brody. This is the thing that I think I'm really excited about in terms of their hitting. Brody is walking 14% of the time and striking out 7%. Last year was walking 4% and striking out 28%. That's a big flip.
Hey, once we get to the league, if that's at 15, I'm fine with that.
Well, and I've seen him strike out looking a time or two on a borderline pitch, and like, man, I will take that all day if I'm Vanderbilt, because it's you will catch one of those strays every now and then where you misjudge it, or maybe it's a bad call, but that's going to show everybody, hey, you've got to throw it in the zone, or I'm not going to bite.
One thing I'm concerned about with Braden Holcomb, and I want your feelings on this. I think he's going to be fine right to left and going back on the ball, but coming in on a baseball, sometimes his reads are not great. He had a couple of catches that he made that he had to struggle to get to them, and then he had the one big mistake out in Global. Yeah. I'm a little concerned with balls that he has to come in on. I don't know if you've noticed that or not.
I haven't had it, like the ball that he missed at TCU. I was on kid pickup duty and listening to it on the radio, so I didn't see it. And I just haven't. I've only been able to get to one game so far. I will get to some later. Justin's asking about the mailbag. Hey, Justin, we'll get to those when we get to the mailbag. We're not ignoring your questions. We're just kind of in the flow of the show here. Anyway, yeah, I haven't been around to see it enough. It's we've got, basketball ended. So we've got David's playing on 2 baseball teams. We've got a travel tournament this weekend.
Where do you?
We're going to Cookeville.
Yeah.
And then he's got I think a middle school game. Well, he's supposed to have one today. I think that got canceled for the weather. And then Isabella's playing lacrosse. So we've got a lot going on. I'm not sure how much I'll get to the park some this year, but I'm not sure it's going to be as much as, and now I'm watching a lot of them on my phone and at home, but that's just kind of where we are with life at the moment. So
Chris, are the games on television this weekend, or are they on the ESPN Plus? Do you know?
Oh, that's a good question. I hope it's on ESPN Plus. I hadn't even thought about that.
I hope it's not
go to the website.
It's not Flow Sports.
Yeah, me either. I just canceled my subscription there. Although, if it is, I should have another month. I mean, it's I canceled, but I paid for a month, so I would think I would have a month. Well, it may not matter. Let me see who's carrying these. D1 Baseball. Okay, so I've got to pay for a separate subscription package there.
Yeah.
Which, if I'd known that, I would have done that last weekend to watch LSU and Auburn.
Oh yeah, LSU got beat last night by McNeese, right?
Yeah, they're having trouble throwing strikes too. They've given up more base runners than any team in the league. They're
uber talented, though, man.
They are. I mean, they'll figure it out. The thing with them, and it's a little bit like this for Vanderbilt, it's just a little bit more pronounced at LSU. Like LSU's got 20 pitchers who, could probably play for anybody.
Right.
And, probably a half dozen of them right now, or maybe more, are just, they're not throwing well. And that's kind of blown up their team totals. Well, I mean, they'll get down to 11 or 12 pitchers, or they may get to Omaha where they'll pitch 6 a lot of times. And like those are guys that are throwing for them that aren't going to be throwing. I think that'll be a little bit the same extent for Vanderbilt. I think they just don't have, instead of LSU having 20 guys, they've got more like 15. So
I do like the fact that we're opening with LSU at home. I think that's the best way them is now until they put it all together. I think they're going to be really, really good.
Well, and that's a team too. Like I feel like Jay Johnson approaches it a lot like Tim Corbin sometimes. Like he will let his guys, either have a bad weekend or like when they trying to remember. They got swept last year by Auburn, middle of the season.
Yeah.
They also, maybe it wasn't them. I want to say they've taken maybe a couple years ago, they lost to Mississippi State, got taken 2 out of 3 late in the season when State wasn't any good. Like, they will have bouts like that where it doesn't always go well for them in a midweek or a weekend.
Right.
But that's part of that is just seeing what you've got, which he's pretty good at doing. So anyway, I feel like I'm rambling here. What else with baseball is worth the discussion before we jump into the mailbag?
Just to reiterate, I think we're by our show next Wednesday, we're going to know a whole lot more about this baseball team. The first 2 weeks, we had one really bad game. That was the 1-run rule. Now, one thing that has impressed me too, even though our opposition's been semi-weak, we've run ruled 6 of our 7 games, 6 of the last.
Something like that, yeah.
That's we haven't done that. We've hit 3 grand slams, which we did all of last year.
Yeah,
there's some things.
No, they've haven't they hit 2 grand slams in a game twice?
Well, I think they've only hit. Well, maybe you may be correct.
They did yesterday, and I think they did it again last week.
I think you're right because it was after Mancini hit the grand slam yesterday that they showed the graphic that we'd hit 3. So that's right because Holcomb hit one later on. So we have hit 4. So we've already passed last year's number. That's exciting to me. Now I know that you're going to see probably more strikeouts from this team as we get into conference play and better pitching. But if the power numbers still stay the way they are, we're going to have a fun summer.
How concerned are you with injuries? I feel like they tend to downplay injuries. Like they said, Colin Barcy's got a shoulder issue. It's not that serious. We haven't seen him in 4 games. I mean, shoulders are things that can really be pesky. Let's hit that one first.
In this instance, I'm not, and I'll tell you why. I think Colin, when you have a guy like Corbin Reynolds,
yeah,
it's like, okay, we're playing right now some non-conference games. Let's get him some at-bats. This is going to work out good for everybody. We can give Colin extra time, even though he could have played. I think Tim even alluded to someone that he could have played actually in the Sunday game against Marist. So I think we may see Colin when we go out west.
Well, and look, if you're 95% and you've got a guy in Corbin Reynolds that you trust, let him get healthy. And Reynolds too was considered. I think I was looking at somebody's list of high school catchers last year in the draft for defense, and I think he was considered a top 5 defensive guy in the class by at least one dude I read on draft thing somewhere. So,
the key, I'll butcher his name. Akai, is it Akai Key?
I think so.
The other catcher.
We'll accept that answer.
His at bat. I know it was against a kid that had an ERA of about 7, but his at bat looked really good. I know he hit the home run, but just the way he looked at the plate, and then last night he caught an inning. He looks fine behind the plate too. I've just never seen us have this much catching depth.
Yeah, and that was, I looked him up too. I'd kind of forgotten because he sat out last year and played some in the fall. Felt like he played pretty well when I saw him play 2 falls ago. But he was considered one of the top offensive catchers in that class 2 years ago.
With our portal guys and our younger guys coming, I just feel like, and I hope I'm right, that this is a very, very deep Vanderbilt team.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, you've got, I think Jensen's going to hit better than he's hit so far. Gooden is got big time power. Now, I think the swing and miss right now, he's at a 38% strikeout rate. That's going to have to go down a lot, or he's not going to be playing. Rigdon, to me, I liked Rigdon as much as any player on the team coming into the year. So once he clears up whatever's, the mental struggles, or if there's something physical, I think Rustin Rigdon is going to give them more than he's given them. I mean, Mancini has come back and hit with the vengeance. Mancini's not struck out yet in 18, 17 plate appearances.
I'm excited for Chris Maldonado. He's had 7 at bats with 4 hits.
Yeah.
Got to be feeling like the weight of the world's off his shoulders. So that's good news, because I think if Jensen doesn't come around and if Gooden's strikeout rate continues to stay where it is, you'll see Maldonado at first.
Yeah, and hasn't struck out yet either.
Right.
So there's that. Gosh, there was something else I had.
I love what
that important
brings to the table. OVC Player of the Year is nothing to sneeze at. That kid can hit the ball to all fields. I think he's got a great sense of the strike zone. I think Matt Whitcomb will be that DH most nights.
Yeah, I mean they've got a lot of options. I know what it was. Maldonado's not struck out yet in eight chances, so that's another thing that you like.
That's great. And the late inning base running guys, they used to be just one guy, and you might have one defensive replacement. But Will Hampton, Cade Sears, and Colin Brightwell have all played late inning defense from the 7th inning on. Now they haven't got a lot of chances because they've been run rule games, but I like that chance. I like that situation as well.
When do you think they get Shorey and Green and Stillman back?
I think you'll see. I'm giving a guess on one of the guys. The other two I kind of have a little knowledge on. I'm thinking you'll see Shorey this weekend at some point.
Okay.
Stillman, I'm guessing at, and Miller Green is going to be a little bit more, I think.
We talking after the start of conference play?
No, I think you'll see him before that. But
okay.
Just to get him out there, like ramping up Hudson Barden yesterday, that was a plan all along to just go 10 pitches. I feel
probably so. Yeah,
it wasn't like he was terrible. It just boom. As soon as that 10th pitch hit, they walked out of the dugout.
Well, I think if Green and Stillman come in and give them what people think they can, I think people kind of gave up on Miller Green after last year. I've not. I mean, there's still a really good pitcher in there. Really good pitcher if it goes well.
We talked about this, Chris. Miller Green pitched in the worst luck of any pitcher on the staff.
Yeah.
And it seemed like every situation he was thrown into, someone got a great swing on something or he left the ball out over the plate. He's going to be fine. It started down at Auburn, if you remember. We gave up the late home run to lose to Auburn.
Yeah, first weekend of the year in the conference.
And that kind of set the tone for his season because then it was a lot of CNI ground balls up the middle and that type of thing, or looping line drives that fell in. It wasn't like he got shelled.
Yeah.
But his confidence definitely got shaken a little bit last year.
For sure. I do wonder what Stillman is when they get him.
To me, I mean, I look at all of his stuff from Perfect Game and all that. Man, he was so impressive to me. I thought he would, if he was healthy, he would be the midweek starter.
Yeah, well, I mean, the guy that's supposed to be is Shorey, and that's another arm, and I think that's where Baird is probably short for the job if that doesn't work. And the other guy, Wyatt Nadeau, I mean, he's only pitched 3 innings, but man, those been 3 pretty electric innings so far.
He's gonna play in the conference. I think Jacob Schultz is a great guy to get you 3 outs, just a different look.
I
feel the same thing about Faulkner. He had the horrible thing in Texas happen to him, but since then he's been lights out.
Well, and Kranzler's recovered pretty well since the debacle in Arlington.
And you know who's the most probably? It's weird. Brennan Cyber. If he can throw strikes, he's probably. I mean, when he does throw strikes, they don't hit him. It's just his problem is strikes.
Well, the thing with Cyber, even if he doesn't throw strikes, and he's I think he walked 22% of guys last year, walked or hit. That's exactly what it is this year. But you just don't lift the ball against him.
No, you don't.
I mean, almost like his ground ball out to fly ball out ratio right now, and I don't know, I can't get like fly balls and ground balls. I can just get what they got outs on. It's like 10-1 right now.
Yeah.
So it wasn't that pronounced last year, but he was probably the most pronounced guy they had on the staff at keeping the ball out of the air, which I think is going to be really, really helpful in that park. So
one other little weird thing to talk about baseball, this has nothing to do with the players, but have you noticed the backstop situation now?
It's like got a glare to it.
Well, it's not only that, it's plexiglass. So now when those balls that used to ricochet back catcher, they're just sticking, which that can be good for you or bad for you, depending on the situation. But that's going to be something you will see a lot more guys score from third on wild pitches.
Let's see how many wild pitches and pass balls they have this year. They've got. Let's see. They've thrown 4 wild pitches. Opponents have thrown 10. Pass balls, they have 1 and opponents have 2. So, I mean, that ought to actually play in their favor. And frankly, that feels like a Tim Corbin move. Like, hey, we got some pretty good defensive catchers, and let's just this might hurt them more than it hurts us.
It may be. I don't know. I noticed it right away that first game. It was like, and it makes an incredibly loud noise too. The plexiglass is not in there tight.
Yeah,
it's loose, and it sounds like
what
somebody.
If it is it that almost sounds intentional.
Well, I think it may be because you know how the plexiglass in a hockey game kind of waves back and forth when you see it?
Right.
Same type thing.
That's funny. I hadn't even thought about that other than just like I noticed the other day when I was watching on TV, like there's a glare on the. Now, I do wonder if that becomes an issue at some point in the season for your fielders.
Well, now think about this, Chris. On the mound, there's got to be a certain time of day when, as a pitcher, like a mirror image. Yeah. So I don't know if it matters or not. I'm sure they've tested all that, but might be like that game against UT when we didn't test the lights and they were. Oh my gosh, fly balls were dropping all over the place.
Was it? Well, then last year you had the power outage in the middle of the game, so you just never know what's around the corner, do you?
No, you don't.
Okay, let's go to the mailbag. Justin, we'll get to your stuff. I promise you. Okay, where are we? Oh, yes, the mailbag. It is presented by Sutherland and Belk, a family-owned injury law firm. If you or a loved one has been hurt in an accident, give Taylor or Russell a call, 615-846-6200. See what your rights are and if they can help. Guest line presented by friend of the show, John Levin and Womble Bond Dickinson. We appreciate all our sponsors for their help here and paying those travel baseball costs, which are mounting quickly. Oh, man. All right, let's get back to the subject at hand. Let's see. Let's do basketball first. Memorial HVAC. Seems like this team functions best when it can play fast and get the opponent on its heels. Miles will help us return to this style, but do we think Tanner is just too fatigued to get back to the high energy player he was for the first half of the season? That's a terrific question.
Great question. And you brought up the fact that Georgia doesn't play great defense. I think you'll know after tonight. Now, if Tyler's completely over this flu bug and has got his strength back, that has a little bit to do with the last couple of games. But if he does, then he ought to be doing that stuff where he gets to the rim and dishing and flying all over the place. If he's doing that tonight, then I feel really good about things.
One thing they need to avoid, too, is you'd like to get at least one bye in the SEC tournament because I think right now they're playing right away, which is not good.
8 right now or 7? Are they 8 or 7?
I don't. They were 9. I think someone said they were 9 heading. I haven't followed. It's really too early.
It's too early to tell because of the tiebreakers. There's so many teams. There could be like a 5-way tie right now.
Yeah. Okay. NBA Door, can you please share your opinion on what you think the following lineups would be? Standard, small, jumbo, defense, shooting. I only ask because it seems like we have a focused lineup. We appear to perform better. Standard lineup is Tanner, Miles, Nickel, Glock, Washington. That's probably your guys. Small is Tanner, Miles, Bing, Nickel, and Okereke. Jumbo is Okereke running point. That's interesting. Nickel at shooting guard, Glock at the small forward, Washington and Leverett. And the defensive, he's got Tanner, Okereke, Bing, Glock, and Washington. Shooting, Tanner, Miles, Nickel, AK, and Glock. I don't know if you still have your bearings after all that, but
I kept up, except they're leaving Mike James out of the mix, and
that's true.
He gets minutes. He doesn't score or hasn't scored much. He's hit a couple of big threes earlier in the year, but most of his stuff is his defense is pretty good.
Bing might be in that jumbo lineup too, potentially.
Yeah, he could. I'm excited, Chandler Bing. I'm really excited about his future.
Yeah, me too. He's gotten so much better.
Yep. And Leverett.
And Leverett, who got off the bench a little bit Saturday.
Do we think Dean Vines will stay?
No clue.
Yeah, I just wonder where he's at on his progression.
You do see kids sometimes that are non-factor 1 year. An off season can change that. NBA door, is this the golden age of Vandy sports over the last 24 months? How long do you anticipate our run of all sports being ranked will continue?
Well, and please, let's don't get into it because it's all going to come down to money. It's all going to come down to how we support men's basketball. I feel good about baseball, women's sports in general, and football. But men's basketball is the wild card, and we're going to be finding out pretty soon.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a little too early to label it a golden age. I mean, you've first of all, you haven't brought home a lot of hardware. In that, I mean, it's been great. Trust me, this is much better than the 10 consecutive years where it was like everything stunk but baseball. I'd much prefer doing the show this way, but I mean, I do think it's, it's much better, but there's not, like if they get to the end of the season and they've made, Elite Eight in men's and women's basketball or something like that and going to Omaha, then maybe I'll go there.
Yeah.
You might probably need another football follow-up season too. You can still kind of say, well, that was just Diego. I think it's kind of it's very encouraging, but it's still a little bit of an incomplete.
Well, to me, it's like this: to keep the momentum going. Next year, we need to get to go at least minimum to a bowl game in football. In other words, 6-6 or 7-5, and the regular season wins in women's and men's basketball right now. I mean, we've got to be, except for maybe UConn and a couple other schools. I think our combined total wins is like 45-9.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you'll take that every year the rest of your life.
Sure.
And then, of course, baseball is yet to be determined.
I'm thinking of like the best runs of 2 or 3 years since I've covered it. You go back to 2007. That was when basketball was still pretty good. That would have, like when the Ogilvy teams right around there, you had the 2007 team in baseball. It was the 1 seed and just, won the SEC, but we know what happened in the regional.
11 and 12.
Yeah, that was the other one. And that's when everything just kind of dropped off a cliff almost after that within a couple of years.
Yeah.
11-12 was when you had the Taylor, Jenkins, Tinsley, baseball got to a College World Series.
Yep.
Football was winning 9 under Franklin. I think women's basketball was still good at that point.
Melanie Balcom, I think. Yes, it was her last, kind of getting close to her last hurrah.
Yeah. So I don't think this is like the peak I've covered. I just think that the valley has been so prolonged.
It's funny if you want to look at, and then of course women's basketball wasn't a thing back then, but when it was really good was the mid 70s. Had baseball going well. Basketball was great with the F Troop. So the mid 70s, and football had gone to the Peach Bowl and won 7 games another year. And that's amazing. They went 7-3-2 and didn't go to a bowl. Or excuse me, they went 7-4 and didn't go to a bowl.
Well, I remember, I'm thinking back on this now. In 2014, that's when I got asked to write that book, that Tales of the Vanderbilt Commodores. And like, you got a lot of stuff to choose from, like within that period right before that. I started writing it just after they won the College World Series. So you had that. You had 2013 where they had been, didn't get to Omaha, but they went 26-3 in the SEC. Basketball wasn't that far removed from being good. It was that 2011. Was it 10-11 or 11-12?
11-12.
Okay.
When they won Kentucky in the SEC tournament to win the SEC.
Unfortunately, the moment that book hit the printer, everything went in the toilet other than baseball. Because they got to Omaha and lost in Game 3 of the finals. But for about a decade, it was just ugh.
Well, I have an interesting topic. I had friends in town last week, and they're going to write a book. And that you brought that up, and what they wanted to say is this. And they're doing this for all Power 4 conferences. who would be your Mount Rushmore in each one of your 4 major sports?
Okay.
Who's your Mount Rushmore in baseball? You only get to pick one. Because I said, well, do you get a pitcher and a position player? But no, you gotta narrow it down to one in every sport.
Whew.
So that's something for our fans out there to think about.
Do you want to give ours off the top of our head?
Yeah, it's hard for me, real hard for me, because I'm so old. I go too far back. I mean, I have to say David Price in baseball.
I was thinking maybe Dansby. A lot of people, I mean, you could argue either way. Price sort of helped put them on the map.
Yeah.
But Dansby helped them get the first natty.
Right.
And did miss a year. And they got to a runner up. He's been a high profile shortstop for what, 8 or 9 years in the bigs.
Yeah. Coming up on a decade. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, basketball.
Not that Price was chopped liver. He won a Cy Young. So,
Chris.
Sure.
Sorry about that. Basketball, mine's Clyde Lee.
Yeah, I think that would be I don't know about unanimous, but that feels like that's kind of easy.
Football, I think we just saw him.
I do too. That was easy for me too.
Yep.
And
women's basketball, I think we're seeing it right now as well.
Yeah, I mean, don't follow it a lot, but she's been so spectacular you can't miss it. So
it's actually a fun. When women's basketball is not fun when it's not good. Does that make sense? I mean,
yeah.
2 bad women's basketball teams. There's nothing worse.
I like the highlight that they run on the Vandy UT game a few years ago, where it was about 45 seconds and like the worst display of basketball ever. Do you know the one I'm talking about that pops up on Twitter every now and then?
I know exactly what.
That's where my head went.
I got a stat for you. I want you to tell me the missed layup rate in women's basketball. How many layups are missed in women's basketball?
Like percentage?
Yeah, I'd like to know, because even on a good day, our team, and we're one of the best teams in the country, we miss 50% of them.
Yeah, I don't have an answer.
Yeah.
Do you know?
No, I want you to look it up for me though, because you're the
not my.
I
only got time for so much, man. I follow the 3 sports I cover. I got Elena to follow women's hoops. I follow Major League Baseball. I will watch the Titans some.
I also need you to tell me which lane in Smyrna is the hardest lane to bowl in.
Yeah, wrong guy, wrong number.
You can put too much oil on the lanes. You know that.
That's what I hear. I'm not my area of expertise. I feel like we could have some tangents off that would probably be funny, but we won't. Let's see. Where does the Vanderbilt, this is from me, when does the Vanderbilt job fall in the men's basketball job rankings? What I'm asking is Vandy objectively a top 25 job in the country after recent investments in the program and infrastructure? Is it currently a top 5 SEC job?
Not a top 5 SEC job now. It used to be. It used to be for years. It was a top 5. I would say it's right in the middle. 8, 9.
What did you think of the Jeff Goodman poll? Did you see that?
I thought it was garbage.
Well, I mean, he asked all 16 SEC coaches.
Well, that's okay. That people, they're basing that on probably the last 7. I mean, Byington's only been here a year, not even 2 years.
Yeah,
we have a good coach. When we have a good coach, it's a great place. And look, there's a proven history. I can remember to play Auburn and Georgia and Mississippi State, and there'd be 15,000 people there, and we would win by 30 points. I mean, it was just Vanderbilt was a scheduled loss for those teams.
Well, I had fun being there Saturday. I got out and looked like the gym was packed. Now, I don't think I realized there were as many Tennessee fans there as there were. I can only see part of it, but like everything I saw was just jam packed, and like it was loud in there. Like that is the gym that I grew up with.
Yeah.
So.
There's a level. There's another level. Like the night that Tennessee was ranked number 1 and we beat them, that was a different level of Memorial.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been some games in there when I've left and my ears are ringing.
Yeah. All right. Let's get to the chat portion of the mailbag and the YouTube chat. Justin wants to know, has there been any recent rumors on Byington getting a new contract?
I have no knowledge. The positive side to me is his son's coming to Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
That's the only positive. Everything else is just up in the air to me.
I had some thoughts on the board that didn't go over very well on that.
Yeah.
But it's an easy fix.
It is. You can stop.
Yeah.
But now let me ask you this. Let's look at this too, Chris. And God forbid this happens. Let's say we go 0 for these last 4, get beat first game of the SEC tournament, and lose the first game of the NCAA. Are people still as excited?
Well, they couldn't be. But
that's what we would drop to an 8 or 9 seed, and then they'd be like, "Well, Byington may not be the answer."
Might make your coach a little less attractive for other schools looking to pick him off too.
Right.
So I guess there's a benefit in that, but you'd prefer not to.
You don't want that.
Go that route, right? I think he's a great coach. I mean, I hope he's here for a long time.
I'm with you 100%. I love him. I think he's probably my favorite coach as far as feeling like we're going to win every time I walk into the gym since Eddie Fogler.
Yeah. Let me see if I can. I could have sworn there was a question in here about this being the best group of coaches at Vanderbilt. Yeah, here it is. Justin asked it. Justin said in his 41 years, it's the best. I think it is for me too.
Yeah, of those 4, definitely the top 3 men's sports, absolutely.
Would you take, everything else being equal, age, whatever, would you take Kevin Stallings or Mark Byington if you're starting your program, if you're hiring a coach at Vanderbilt?
In today's climate, definitely Mark Byington. Kevin not be able to handle what's going on with the transfer portal and all that. He couldn't function in that area.
Would you take Eddie Fogler or Mark Byington?
That's almost a push. I would Eddie Fogler, but that was a system, a Princeton offense, a lot of backdoors and stuff. It was fun to watch, very smooth. Byington's is a little different. We're going to run up and down the floor, so it's a push.
I mean, I think the football coaches, I think when we're asked to take Clark or Franklin, we would both take Clark, probably for
that's not
probably for our own reason. Well, I mean, look, James was such a turd to people that it's hard to not
trust me.
That clouds your judgment a little bit.
Because I know what he was.
Yeah, I mean,
no, I have to say Clark but I'm biased.
Right. I mean, that one it is what it is, but
yeah. We can say Dan McGugan.
Sure, why not?
Hey.
Probably the right answer.
If I'd have been an equipment manager back then, I'd been stuffing feathers in the footballs.
Are you claiming you weren't?
I was not. I'm old, but I'm not that old.
You thought we were friends, didn't you?
Who are you?
Man, I think that's it. Let's see. Oh, Justin's got one. With everything that's gone down this season with our guards and injuries, how different would it look if George Kimball were playing and not out injured? That's a good one. Like his coach was here, A.W. Hamilton. I actually used to know a little bit through some Blue Ribbon stuff. Really like that guy. I think he brought it up. He said, "Man, you're getting a terrific player and a terrific kid in that guy."
Kimball is a lot. His game's a lot like Duke Miles, from what I understand.
Yeah.
Do we think, before we go, do you think Tanner will be back next year?
Yeah. I didn't a month ago, but between all the pro prospects and just between him kind of wearing down late, like now you got something to sort of, point at and say, okay, that's, I mean, Tyler Tanner, if he comes back with 10 more pounds of muscle, I mean, he's a dude anyway, but then he's like, okay,
Yeah.
He can take his game up another notch. I think they might have gotten lucky with that, just with the way the season went, the physical toll it took on him, and just umpteen freshmen who are going to all be drooled over by NBA scouts.
I hope we have to worry about it, because that means we're going to have a great finish to the season.
That's true. Yeah. Anything else?
No, I'm good.
I've got to go pick Oreo up from the groomer. We have to now. We have to get him anesthetized in order to get his hair cut.
What? He freaks out?
Oh yeah, like I've got a major scar on my finger where I like just tried to cut his hair out of his eyes. He can't see, and he will not let me do it. Like, we've been fired by multiple groomers, and so like that's the only way we can get it done is put him under. I was given a call. Fortunately, I was a little nervous. He's made it fine, but if you didn't hear any howling today, that's the reason he's not here. I'm going to go pick him up when we're done with the show.
He'll be in trauma when he wakes up and he can see. He won't understand what's going on.
He'll just be happy that he's getting a car ride. Now, the problem is he does not like to come out of the car. Like, you have to leave his leash on and literally drag him out and hope he doesn't hurt himself hitting the concrete. He will not come out of the car. You will lose a finger if you are going to get him out of the car with your own hands.
Oh my goodness.
So you have to get him across the console. I mean, it's brutal.
Take care of Oreo, man.
We all have to take care of our Oreos. All right. Thank you guys for watching and listening. The podcast has always been free. We plan for it to always be free. Here's how you can help keep it that way. Subscribe to our Vandy247 YouTube channel. Give the podcast a review and a 5-star rating. That helps get us noticed. If you're listening and haven't subscribed to Vandy247.com, please do that. It's $139.99 a year. You get stuff there that you don't get here. Finally, if you're interested in sponsoring the show, give me a shout at chrislee70@gmail.com. Thank you for listening. We'll catch you again soon with more episodes of the Vandy247 podcast presented by FanDuel.